What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. We see Paul George putting up shots in practice. We see Paul George, ramping it up a little bit in regards to trying to better himself, to get himself back on the court, to put himself in position to, help the Clippers. And, we definitely hope and definitely envision the same thing with Kawhi Leonard. You definitely want to see those two players on the roster, on the team, on the team, on the floor and playing, because even though you look at the Clippers in a game like last night and they lost, against the Knicks, it's just, they're still en route to, make things happen. They're still en route to be a very, very tough team, especially if they can get one of their superstars back and, maybe possibly make another run, as they did last year. And watching Paul George shoot around with that right elbow, the one that's affected with the UCL, is definitely encouraging for Clippers Nation, because, it's really no timetable, as Ty Lue said. Ty Lue was asked about the situation, and Ty Lue said the same thing. Paul George is feeling good. He's he's starting to put up shots, but there's still no timetable for him to return. But he is feeling better. And, we have to understand, feeling better and being able to go out there and play is two different things. Now, I'm not going to say that Paul George is out for the season. I don't want to go that far. I don't want to say that because, I feel like he can come back just as well as I feel like Kawhi can come back. So I know there's a lot of talks out there about both of them are done for the season, and you probably heard speculation and things like that. But, you have to take things like that with a grain of salt. You have to just, look at their progression day by day and hope for the best. And that's exactly what I've done, in regards to both of those players. Kawhi being my favorite player, I definitely want to see him come back. He's my guy always. And, 24/7, that's my guy. But at the same time, it is encouraging to see, and hear good things about both of those players, both of them ramping it up, both of them trying to get to the point where they can be effective on the court and play with their teammates and allow this team to flourish, because this team is really, really good. And like I said, despite the loss last night against the Knicks, the Clippers still are a really good team, and they still are really tough out if it comes to the playoffs. It's not going to be easy to knock them off in a 7-game series. It's just not, because they're going to come out there and they're going to give you everything they have, whether they're two superstars on the floor or they're not. But as I said before, it's good to see Paul George putting up shots. It's definitely encouraging for Clippers Nation. Clippers Nation definitely need to be encouraged by that, because at one point he wasn't even putting up no shots at all. The elbow was just resting and doing other conditioning, but not a lot of shooting. And now the shooting is ramped up more. And, I'd say in a couple weeks, if they feel like they can trust it, if Paul George feels like he can trust it, then maybe he'll go out there based upon maybe another MRI they take, I'm not sure, or based upon how he feels in regards to, how the elbow feels in regards to shooting and things like that. Now, the main thing for me, I would like to know and see is, how is he going to be if he's shooting the ball and taking contact? Because see, that's what it's all about. You can shoot a jumper, by yourself and your arm is feeling good. But the problem is when you go out in the game on the floor, when somebody bumps you in the shoulder, when somebody intentionally elbows you in that shoulder, you got dirty players in the league too who intentionally do things like that. When you're out there playing in a game, especially a game that means everything in the playoffs, it means everything in the playoffs. It's win or go home. So when you look at it from that perspective, Paul George comes back around that time, maybe a little bit earlier or something like that. Even in a regular season game, there's guys who bumped you. There's guys who try to, hit you in those certain spots they know you're injured in. And that's the part that we're really going to have to see. And that's the part where you really judge Paul George where he is, because if he can take contact with the elbow, still shoot, still be effective, still, handle the ball the way he usually does, things like that, dribble and everything, okay, then we got something going. But if he's just able to shoot without taking any contact, then that means the timetable might be a little bit longer than expected, or a little bit longer than he would like to wait. And, the same thing goes with Kawhi Leonard. it's one thing ramping it up, doing things like that in practice, but when you're taking contact with guys, going to the basket, jumping up, dunking, things like that, if you're doing things like that, then Kawhi would say Kawhi is, a lot further ahead in his progression. And I believe he is doing things like that, but I mean, it's just going to take a little bit more time with his injury specifically too. But as far as Paul George, yeah, that's the reports I want to see. I want to hear that he's taking more contact, not like shooting by himself and things like that. And then, like I said, that is a good, notion to see. That is him progressing to where he needs to get to. But in order for him to come back, to get on the floor, to be effective for this team and help this team, possibly win, he has to be able to take contact. And that's what it's all about. That elbow injury is so rare that if any contact comes within, if you contacted any, like let's say he's shooting a jump shot and somebody hits his elbow while he's shooting or something like that, will that elbow flare up then? And see, that's the type of things we need to see. And that's the type of things we need to hear, that he's progressing in those type ways. As far as him shooting, I'm glad to hear that, but I'm hoping that we hear better news, that he's doing 3-on-3, 4-on-4s. Now he's doing, regular 5-on-5s in practice, taking contact too and things like that. What I'm saying? Setting picks off screens, the little things that basketball players do when they have injuries that lets them know, okay, the injury's getting better because I'm doing everything I used to do and I'm not worried about the injury, and the injury's not bothering me while I'm actually playing physical. So, I mean, that's where I want to see things go. That's where I want to hear the progression get to, and it will. I'm not going to try to force it or anything like that. As far as both Kawhi and PG, they both need to take their time and, do what's best for their body and stuff so they can be in this for the long term, because, what I'm saying, the Clippers have an opportunity to at least make it to, I would say, 1 or 2 championships. Win at least, they have an opportunity to win at least one, but I feel like they have an opportunity to make at least two championships or more if they stay together, depending how long they stay together and everything. So I definitely think the opportunity is there. I do think the opportunity is shrinking a little bit, as I said before, but hey, what I'm saying, if they can make a way to come back this season, things would be, a whole lot, spicier in the Western Conference and in the NBA, because I just think the NBA is a lot better when those two players are playing, especially Kawhi Leonard. When Kawhi Leonard's healthy, I think the NBA is just a lot better, because everybody knows how much of an assassin he is. Everybody knows he's the best playoff performer. Everybody knows he's a 2-time Finals MVP, and everybody knows he could put a team on his back and go to the promised land. Everybody knows he can do that. He's done it before. He's done it twice, or if you want to say once, that's fine. Whatever you want to say the case may be. But he has shown that he is a leader by example, and he can go out there and make something happen. And Paul George has shown last year that he can carry a team a little bit, as much as he can, and, rally around the troops and get the guys going as well. So, I mean, those two guys on the court is really going to make it hard for a lot of teams if they're both healthy. And I definitely hope that's what happens. Definitely hope to hear more about Kawhi Leonard. Definitely hope to hear more about Paul George here soon. I'm glad Paul George is shooting and getting his shots up, though. I'm glad he's, feeling better and the confidence is getting there. And, hopefully, both of those players walk through the door, and tell Ty Lue, I'm ready to go, because I guarantee you the eyes and everything of all the players on the court are going to light up, because now they know they got opportunity to win a championship, rather than, maybe just get into the playoffs and things like that. But now they got opportunity to win a championship. They get those two players back, and that's exactly what Clipper Nation is hoping. It's what I'm hoping for, and really that's what the NBA world should hope for, because you want to see the best competition out there. You don't want to see teams injured and, a team like the Bucks win a championship. And I'm not saying the championship is fraud or anything, but you would like to see Giannis play against the best competition and win a championship. I didn't think the Suns last year were the best competition for him, because Chris Paul just never comes up, big in the clutch to me, my personal opinion. DeAndre Ayton is really young. So is Devin Booker. They're a lot improved this year. But I mean, last year, I didn't think they were really at their best. I didn't think they were really ready for a championship last year. I just think that they got through the West because there was a lot of, it was a much, easier path than what was expected. I mean, if the Lakers were healthy and LeBron was maybe 100% healthy, maybe the Lakers beat them in the first round. If the Clippers had Kawhi Leonard, they definitely definitely would have beat them in the third round. That's just my opinion, and I think a lot of people agree with that. So I'm just saying, I feel like the Suns weren't ready, but at the same time, it's just good to see teams go against the competition when they're all healthy. And I think Kawhi and PG being healthy, I think they can definitely make it to a finals, no doubt about it. But we got to see how it goes and just see how it ends up. And hopefully both of these players, Kawhi and PG, with their progression, both of them feeling a lot better. I hope they feel better or better enough to, be able to make a comeback this season and make a run for a championship. But hey, that's my take on everything. You leave any comments in the comment section as always. And hey, Cali out.